I would say organized chaos. I think that if you looked at the company on the surface, it seems very simple, but then as you kind of dive down into the layers of the company, it is very, very complex. And that even the franchise system or the different affiliates within the company seems like something to outsiders is pretty odd. But it's part of the plan. So I think that as a movie title, the company would be, I think, organized chaos. But that's part of the charm. That's part of the what draws people to this company. Even though I started as an intern, I really did not understand in any way really what the organization did. It took me a very long time to figure it out. And then it was about maybe a little bit after the first year that I had my aha moment, and I was like, oh my God, I figured out what we do. So what do? We're an idea company. And that, through our publications, that we communicate our ideas to like-minded individuals. And we firmly believe that our ideas are better than others. And that's why we're not the mainstream media. Mainstream media has an opinion that is kind of the populace, and they don't really go to the extremes. But our ideas are kind of on the edge, and that eventually, if our ideas were right, which we are a lot of the time, they will eventually, the mainstream media will catch up to our ideas. Understanding that we develop a deep relationship with our readers beyond what the mainstream media does. With a magazine, when you're reading it, it's not really written to you. And so I think that makes it even much more interesting, that we know that we are having a personal relationship with that reader. The concept of new, emerging ideas are something that's worth being vetted through the entire organization. We don't just settle for what's given to us. Since I worked a lot in technology through my years with the company, that we didn't just buy off-the-shelf software. We do have some off-the-shelf software, but it really had to be very, very specific to what we're trying to do as an organization. But usually of any of the commercial software that we use, we're one of the top clients of that company because we go the extra mile. We really study the software. We really know a lot about it. And that we want to know because we know that the intricacies of our business. We don't just settle for, well, that's what the software does. We want to make it better. We want to make it what's right for us. And I think that's interesting that we will go to that extreme to make things really be right for our company and not for what everybody else does. So we always more like on the bleeding edge of some of these things, which causes issues. With being on the bleeding edge causes problems. But I think in those problems, I always call them like rich man problems. That rich man problems are good problems, that, we're having problems because we are on the bleeding edge and that we're doing something that nobody else has done. So for customer service, having to deal with a new situation because we're doing some new policy for handling refunds, that's great. That shouldn't be seen as something as like, oh my gosh, this is a pain. But that's really a good thing, that our company is willing to try something new, try to become the norm. The best thing about Agora and the worst thing about Agora are pretty much one and the same. And that what that is that every opportunity you really do need to make on your own. And that we're not so formal that we don't have a necessary a career path for you. It isn't like you're going to come in this position, then like the government where you do this, you go up a grade and you're here, and then you go up a grade and you go here. So your whole entire career path, if you stay within that organization, has been mapped out for you. Really here, I think one of the opportunities, which I think is a blessing and a curse, like I said, it's a good and a bad thing, is that you're left on your own to do that. Which sounds a little scary, but I find that actually great. I mean, somebody who's really willing to take the time and understand things, that allows you to kind of test the waters in different areas, figure out what you like, and then move into that other space. But that central knowledge that you acquired in that one area is transferable to the other area. Everything's interconnected. The best thing that a new employee could do is really, really think about what you're doing. Like everything has a purpose, even though at the beginning it's not going to really seem like it has a purpose, but it really does. And that understand that there's resources around you that you can use that can help you connect these dots. Push yourself beyond your comfort zone, because I think that's where learning really occurs. The more that you can actually figure out what you like or dislike within the company, then you can move around and to create your own career path. That's what I did. The fundamentals are transferable. Even though we have this affiliate structure and different companies, but there is that common core that all holds us all together. And so we're all in the family, and so that's an opportunity that I think is become more prevalent in the last few years. We've had a few transplants from this side of the ocean to Europe, but we've also had some come from the other way. So I think that's a very, very good opportunity. And in time, I really suggest that if you can, that you take that opportunity. Little things do matter. Like somebody just giving you, putting your rod into the water and then you pull fish out. That's just following somebody's instructions. But if you really, really understand and really spend the time and understand how to fish and the nuances within that's important. So always, be asking yourself, why? Why is it this way? And that really demand the answer from your coworkers and others in the company to really understand that why. Because the devil is in the details. That's how I was able to do what I've done throughout my career is I always wanted to know why. I always wanted to understand. I didn't accept just, hey, this is the way that it is, or just do it this way as an answer. I wanted to find out. And then once I found out, I was able to get a deeper level of understanding, and then I was able to actually improve upon whatever was done. Indirect response, which is the foundation of what the organization is built on for the way that we acquire our subscribers, is that nothing is insignificant. That, as a new employee, and especially if you're starting in an entry-level position, you're going to be doing a lot of tasks that seem like menial. And if you don't understand what those little things are, this is where I challenge you to find out what they are. Have somebody explain this to you. I mean, it's really, really fascinating once you get into looking at these things, through reporting or all the tools that we use to kind of understand how it all fits together. It's fantastic. And it makes it what's really, really exciting about working for the companies. I think one of the keys to my success in the company is that I had a mentor early on. He was this crazy, crazy guy. Again, through the organization's history, we've had some very, very interesting characters that have worked here. And I, fortunately, unfortunately, at the beginning, had a mentor that was completely insane, but insane in a good, loving way. So you got to know him. But I found that invaluable. What I found in time was really forcing me to think about what I'm doing. And that's really key, and somebody that a good mentor will really kind of nudge you and push you to really think about what you're doing. And that in the marketing space, which most of the employees in the company kind of fit into that space, you really have to, there is no right answer. It's all basically taking all the information that you have, putting it through your brain, and then coming up with a decision. And so what he was forcing me to do is to stand by whatever I decided. He would say, well, why are you doing that? And if I had an answer oh, well, and I couldn't come up with a right answer, he would yell at me and challenge me to have an answer and stand by what I thought was right, defend myself. You'll see that a lot of times in business where people will crumble, where they will have a very strong opinion and then somebody challenges them and they'll fold under that. That's not good. That's not good for the organization. And a strong mentor will be no, if you're right and you feel you're right, fight for what you think is right. Have an opinion. That's something that I think our publications bring as well, is that we have an opinion. A good mentor would do that, challenging the person to really help them become more than what they think that they can become. I think a good mentor is someone that is knowledgeable about the business and knowledgeable about more than just part of the cog. They should really understand the business overall. Because what I think that they need to be able to do for you is be able to help you connect the dots and help you think of things beyond what you may or may not know about. So somebody who's probably senior to you, I would think would be good as a mentor. Senior to you, somebody that you can have a good rapport with. I mean, rapport is very, very important. You know, you have to be able to talk honestly to that person and not feel threatened. But I think that that's what you want. You want to have a kind of like a safe space, and that you want to be able to be open and honest with that person. So in the relationship is really what's important. Finding somebody who knows what's going on in the company, how things work, have been here for a while. And a while doesn't have to be, 28 years like I have been, but a while could be, maybe around 5 years, and that has done a lot, maybe in varied positions within the organization. The last word of advice I would just give to someone to take away from this is that it all really starts with yourself. I mean, I know that sounds super cliche, but it really does. And you'll learn this through your career. And the more that you understand this, the better you will be as a person, as also as an employee.